All right, Kenzie, let's take a look at your paper. MLA format first, you just need to make sure that this is the same kind of font as this, so make sure this is Times New Roman. Everything up here is good. I'm not sure that is the most creative title in the world, but we can work on it. So you start off with a quote from scene 2. This was actually one of the scenes that we skipped. Make sure that you have you have a space here that you don't need, so you can pull that in. For the most part, Kenzie, this paragraph organizationally is fine. I would almost say that it's probably too long. I think there are some things in here that you could probably cut. I think you talk too much about the plot. I think you can probably get right into, the symptoms faster. I like that you brought up, which a lot of people didn't, that the PTSD was affected by killing the king. But this is what I'm talking about. He experienced all this, and then you talk about him killing the king, but then once he committed that, that's when the results could be seen. I think we can probably get to that faster. Again, you have space issues here, 2 spaces when there shouldn't be, so on and so forth. This is the wrong font, so you want to fix that. Little things like that that just need to be worked on. The other thing too is word choice. Things like the awful illness of this, I don't know, that's not really scholarly, quote unquote. After you did this, the results could be seen. I think that can be a stronger word choice there. He was frequently found guilty of frequently making bad decisions. Could we think of a different word there? I just think I would love to see you push yourself a little bit with word choice, Kenzie, so that get ready for college writing, that sort of thing. I like your thesis statement. I think it works well, so I'm excited to see how you tie it in the end. All right, I'd love to see you have a stronger topic sentence here too. Again, tie it back into your thesis. So your topic is emotional numbness, and this is probably the best example when he's numb to his wife's death, which is fine. But here's a couple of different things. He only had one doctor come and examine her. Well, back in the day, most people didn't have a doctor examine you, so the fact that there was at least one there, I think, is okay. He never told Macbeth this. He told the gentlewoman that people who often sleepwalk hurt themselves, but he never told Macbeth that. So just be careful of that when you write it down. This is what I'm having a hard time with. Since he believed everyone died, he did not care if he died either. I think that's false, because remember in the last scene, he says, "Why should I play the Roman fool and die on my own sword?" Like, he doesn't want to kill himself, and he doesn't want himself to be dead. He's still clinging on to that last prophecy that no one can kill him. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good example. And even if it is a good example, how is that being emotionally numb? I'm not sure I would tie that in to that. Maybe like overconfidence, maybe like irrational thinking. I don't know. I don't think this is the best example for emotional numbness. This led to irrational fears and decisions going into war. So I think this is a decent transition statement. I would still like to see you kind of go back into the thesis, tie back into the thesis everything. You gave a couple examples. Now go back into the thesis and explain it in your body paragraph. All right. So again, we need a stronger topic sentence. Again, we have to make sure our font is the same throughout the paper. This paragraph, while punctuation-wise, there's not anything wrong with it, except you have a space issue here. And you have 2 really good examples of this. All this paragraph ends up being is plot. It's just plot after plot after plot after plot. And then finally, you get to this where you're trying to tie it into the thesis statement. Killing innocent people led to his downfall because it made him acquire enemies. All in all, his new fears troubled his mind and caused him to make an absurd decision to murder innocent people. So when we go back to your thesis statement again, cloud his judgment and led him to make irrational decisions. This is the problem. You're getting to the end of your paragraph and you're saying, wow, he made a bad decision, and it was irrational and it led to him dying. You're just repeating that concept. You're not adding to it. You're not bringing in new things based on the symptom you're talking about, and that's what I want to see in your body paragraphs. So really try to focus on that in the future. And you don't have a strong transition statement here to lead us into this derealization concept you're going to talk about next. Alright, so derealization, again, topic sentence you want stronger. When one's surroundings are altered and seem unreal or unfamiliar, also include an out-of-body experience. Alright, I'll buy that Banquo's ghost is an out-of-body experience, kind of. I mean, I think of more like hallucinations, but I'll play. Again, this is all plot. And then you finally get down to how Macbeth was extremely frightened and confused. Extremely is almost as bad as very, or really, so I would change that. He eventually challenged him to a sword fight and showed how he was mentally unstable. So again, this is all the kind of analyzation I'm getting, which isn't much. They were baffled by Macbeth's insane behavior, good word. Consequently, they were told to leave, so we're just back into plot. This is the one that I don't buy. I'm not sure how this is either an out-of-body experience or things seem altered or unfamiliar to him when he goes to see the witches. I'm just not sure that's a really good example of derealization. It made him feel more confident in himself, but how is that a byproduct of derealization? And again, you're just kind of repeating the concept of your thesis statement. You're not really adding anything to it. So I just don't think that's a really good example of that as you get to the end. All right, so we have the conclusion here. You have the repetition of the thesis statement. You go back through the symptoms and talk about that. And then you get to your clincher statement here, which is actually nothing more than just a repeat of your thesis statement. It's got to be more profound than that. And again, we talk about, word choice, bad decisions. Anyways, you got to go through and fix that. Works cited page, make sure it's at the top of the page so it looks like you can come up at least one or two more spaces. Make sure it's in alphabetical order, which it is not. That's out of order. So you'll have to go back and fix that as well. All right, Kenzie. Structurally, it's not a bad paper. You pretty much do everything that you're supposed to do, aside from some maybe weak things in here. But you have got to make sure that that thesis statement is stronger and that your examples actually back up what you're trying to say. I think that's probably the weakest part of your paper. So go back through, fix those things. I'm looking forward to another draft.